What is up, everybody? We're going to get into it. It's UFC Vegas 37, Smith versus Spann. These are the full card predictions and the betting tips. Smash the like button. We need at least 180 likes on this full card breakdown. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe here too. Much love to all my people tuning into the show, whether live or on replay. I'm really looking forward to breaking down this card. No UFC this past weekend, so it's going to be nice to have some action back for us where we get to see some good fights. Not a 10 out of 10 card, but there's still some good bouts, some potential money to be made. So without further ado, let's get into the first fight of the night. Women's bout. It's the women's flyweight division. Goldy steps in, fights Emily Whitmire. If you remember, actually, Hannah Goldy fought very recently in a loss to Diana Belbita by a decision. Belbita actually had a really good striking performance in that bout. Maybe the best we've seen out of her. Goldy loses it, but there's still things to like about Hannah. I mean, she's, first thing, jacked. Very good forward pressure style of fighter. Usually, has a serious physical strength edge on opponents and is able to use that. Strong in the clinch. Bit of a stiff striker, but pretty good flurries and straight punches and the athleticism that can definitely carry her through, even if striking-wise, not superbly technical. She's still developing. She's got 7 pro fights. This is her 8th. Her opponent, just 8 pro bouts. Emily Whitmire, 4-4. Ugly record at 500, but Ultimate Fighter veteran, standing tall style striker. The chin a little bit up, but not too bad. Solid kickboxing skill set that she brings to the table. I do like the straight punches and kicks, and I feel like disadvantage in this fight for her, though, is the physical strength and really the grappling side of things, more so towards like clinch grappling, fighting with wrestling. I feel like Goldy is going to put a lot of forward pressure on Whitmire. I don't think she'll be able to finish Emily Whitmire here, but I do feel like Hannah Goldy can win this bout, and I think she'll do so by a decision. I'm on Hannah Goldy here, win by a decision to start the night off. Now, betting-wise, looking at this here, Goldy is an underdog. Best value plus 106. Whitmire best value is minus 114. We don't really have a wide option of props just yet, so make sure to tune into this week's Best MMA Bets, where we're going to be breaking down the best bets for the UFC and the Bellator card this week. Odds-wise, minus 295, fight goes the distance. I think that's highly likely here, pretty much a lock on that. That's maybe a potential parlay play that you could add. I'm going Hannah Goldy, win by a decision to start the night off. She is going to beat Emily Whitmire, and I really feel like it's going to be a lot of clinch work, forward pressure, decision victory. Now, second fight, men's division, bantamweight. I like this fight a lot. Gustavo Lopez, Heili, Alateng. The Mongolian fighter coming off of a disappointing loss in the last one against Casey Kenny. Was clearly outworked in that fight. It was honestly a difficult matchup there. I mean, Casey Kenny went on to have a pretty swell loss to Dominic Cruz, so not really a ton of shame in losing to him. On the other side, Gustavo Lopez, he was the Combate champion. He has knockout power for sure. Likes to mix it up inside. I would say his boxing is pretty good. You need to be very careful of his hooks, especially that lead check hook. He can definitely counter Heili Alateng and hurt him here. His wrestling skill set is solid as well, so well-rounded game for Gustavo Lopez, and he's pretty durable too. Heili Alateng is a pretty technical, tight style of striker. When he gets in the close range, though, there's definitely some hitability there, which I do think could be a problem taking on his opponent tonight. I'm excited for this fight. I think that this will actually be a really entertaining one. How will it end up? I'll be honest, I think Gustavo Lopez could potentially get a stoppage in this fight. I think maybe a counter hook KO. I'm going to pick Lopez KO, TKO, second round. I think he's going to put down Alateng, Ali, and I think he's going to do it. In that second round, the Mongolian will lose this bout here. Against the underdog, Gustavo Lopez, plus 111 to minus 118 for Heili Alateng. Inside the distance would be plus 135. Maybe don't love the bet of it. Minus 175. We'll go a lot deeper with the prop side of things a little bit later on in the week. But yeah, as of right now, I'm liking Gustavo Lopez, and I like him to win this bout as an underdog. Close money underdog. Lots of those on this card here. Gustavo Lopez, winner, second fight of the night. Third fight of the night. Carlston Harris takes on Impa Kasanganay. Kasanganay is training over at Sanford MMA, so I do expect pretty steady improvements for him. He's got a pretty well-rounded game already. He looks his best at 170 without a doubt. Pretty patient striker, very strong physically, good wrestling skill set. And I feel like in this matchup, though, you're not fighting an easy guy. This matchup-wise is going to be tricky for Impa because Carlston Harris is a dangerous grappler. Good submission skill set, good wrestling himself, consistent with takedown attempts, will definitely put together a chain style of wrestling, and he's a pretty fast starter too, whereas Impa tends to be a little bit on the slower side. Striking-wise, I'll give a slight edge to Impa Kasanganay here. Carlston is just a bit awkward with his striking. Still, though, I'm riding Impa Kasanganay. I think he wins this bout. It's not easy. Decision win, maybe even a split decision. I think he's really going to be tested here against a very experienced veteran in Carlston Harris. But I feel like Impa Kasanganay can win this fight. Competitively, though, decision win, Impa Kasanganay. The odds on this one, Impa minus 115. Carlston Harris plus 120. Any good prop out yet? It's only the goes the distance. I think it will. Minus 125. If his opponent, Carlston Harris, were to win, I think he'd catch him in some type of odd submission, but not super likely. I think we're going Impa Kasanganay win by a decision, and I expect him to be better in the grappling as far as top pressure, strength, and control. But we might see a striking fight, and I feel like if it is on the feet, Impa Kasanganay should have some clear advantages here. Now, next fight of the night, Erin Blanchfield versus Sarah Alpar. Also, guys, if you haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button. But this fight here, you have former Invicta girl coming over into the UFC, takes on Sarah Alpar, Dana White's Contender Series product, was able to win there, get a contract. Alpar is a southpaw with a bit of an awkward striking game, good forward pressure wrestling, and heavy on top. Granted, Blanchfield, jiu-jitsu phenomenon, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt at 22. At 22 years of age, she has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's extraordinarily impressive. Striking is okay, Thai-esque style, but on the ground is where she's going to shine. I feel like Alpar definitely is going to be looking to mix it up striking. Can Blanchfield deal with it? I believe she will. I believe she will potentially fight a lot off the back foot here with Alpar coming in. I feel like Alpar's going to be a little bit out of position, maybe go for some type of takedown. She's going to get caught. Submission. Erin Blanchfield, round number 2 submission, maybe a guillotine choke, I believe some type of neck submission, and I think it's going to be Blanchfield with the dub against Sarah Alpar in this women's flyweight bout. I'm excited for this prospect. The women's flyweight division needs prospects. We need girls. At 22, she's got a lot of time. And I think, maybe a few years down the line could be a viable contender. I mean, 22 years old. Granted, the odds are ugly. Minus 300, plus 263 at best value on the opposite side. I feel like you gotta go Blanchfield, but betting, I ain't touching it. Fight goes the distance, I ain't touching it. I'll see when the submission prop drops, but I really am gonna be hesitant on throwing any serious dough down on this fight. I just feel like we really have to wait and see what Blanchfield brings to us. This is her UFC debut. She's 22 years of age. I think she wins against Alpar. Could be a risk. And if you remember, Alpar is actually the fighter that Jake Paul donated $5,000 to. So funny little note there. But yeah, Blanchfield win. Maybe the Jake Paul curse will kick in also for Sarah Alpar to lose this bout. So we'll go Blanchfield. Next fight of the night on this stacked, no, but packed card, because we got 15 bouts to go over. Montel Jackson versus JP Buys. What are they doing to the young man JP Buys? They are giving him difficult fights. They're not giving him the Sean O'Malley treatment by any means. This guy is getting put to the test immediately, losing to Bruno Silva. He now fights Montel Jackson, who's coming off a really impressive knockout win. Jackson's a tricky southpaw, very well-rounded, good wrestling game, but he's also super calm with sneaky knockout power. So his shots don't look like they have a ton on him, but they're heavy. He's naturally very heavy-handed, and his striking is just getting better and better with time. He's 29, so now really entering into his prime. JP Buys at 25. I feel like he's definitely too inexperienced here for this matchup. Granted, same amount of fights. The age is a factor. The size is a factor. Nearly, what is that? 67-inch reach to 75.5-inch reach. That's a huge 8.5-inch reach advantage for Montel Jackson. Striking, it's going to be Jackson's show. I mean, JP Buys has a Thai-esh style. He does have pretty good kicks from the outside, decent punches too. But when he came over to the UFC level, Bruno Silva really got to him. Granted, Silva, tricky guy to deal with, one of the more underrated guys in the game. I feel like Montel Jackson, though, puts it on JP Buys, who gets a little bit too reckless. I think we're going to get a stoppage from Montel. KO, TKO. I'm thinking early second round. I think he's going to potentially put JP Buys to sleep here. Montel Jackson for the win. He's going to beat JP. This is a good matchup from Montel Jackson, actually. Look at the odds. My goodness, they agree strongly. Minus 500 to plus 472. Giving my man JP Buys no love out there. Fight goes the distance, plus 135. Ends inside distance, minus 175. Yeah, I think it ends inside the distance in favor of Montel Jackson. Definitely a prop bet to keep an eye on as the props drop. We'll be talking deep about it on this week's Best MMA Bets, so make sure to tune into that because I have a lot of potential prop bets for this card that I'll want to go over once they're all out. But yeah, Montel Jackson, I see clearly winning that fight. Clear-cut advantages pretty much everywhere. Now, next fight, Dakota Bush versus Zhu Rong. 21-year-old Zhu Rong, 27-year-old Dakota Bush. That's so interesting. Rong is so young, but already has a lot of fights. 21 pro bouts. This is 22nd at just 21 years of age. That's crazy. Loses his debut. Didn't really look bad there. Fought a tricky southpaw who put a good pressure and pace on him and was able to crack him with a lot of counter strikes. That southpaw stance threw Rong off a bit in that matchup. Now, granted, he's fighting a guy in Dakota Bush who's a pretty tough striker. He's definitely a guy that's willing to mix it up and exchange. He's coming off a loss to Austin Hubbard. Decent kicking game, nice left hook, but I would say overall Dakota Bush is a fairly basic style of striker. A lot more pro experience for Zhu Rong. He's technically superior striking-wise, but being young is a problem. Rong, he's comfortable out of both stances. I think that should be a clear-cut advantage in this fight. I don't think it's easy, but I think Zhu Rong does win a unanimous decision over Dakota Bush and gets his UFC career rolling. I mean, the potential is there for Zhu, but he's just going to have to perform now under the lights. This is not an easy fight. He's 21. Is he ready? If he loses this one, then I think maybe, I don't know if they'd cut him, but I don't know. Then maybe you got to give him more experience elsewhere. As a lot of pro bouts, and shoot, if he keeps fighting by the time he's 30, is going to have who knows how many. But I feel like he's got a good amount of potential. It just takes time. 21. He's a kid in the fight game. He's still going to beat Dakota Bush here. Win by a decision for Zhu Rong. Expect him to be the superior striker in this one. He's still underdog status. Plus 115. Dakota Bush minus 122. Interesting that he's the dog here. Fight goes the distance, minus 170. Ends inside distance, plus 130. I like fight goes the distance, and I like Zhu Rong winning the bout by a decision. The next fight of the night. Nate Maness and Tony Gravely. Make sure to smash the like button. We need at least 180 likes on this full card breakdown. I love this fight. I really do. Nate Maness, exciting bantamweight. This guy is somebody to keep an eye on. 13-1 record. He's 5'10", so he's taller than nearly every fighter in the bantamweight division. Slick kickboxing skill set. He also has good submission game, knockout power in the hands too, good straight punches, and a guy who's willing to bang. And honestly, ton of heart, ton of pressure. I actually am a fan of Nate Maness' style, and that's not just because we did an interview a while back, but I actually think he has a quality skill set. Championship? I don't know. Can make a bit of a run. Missed weight in the last one. Substantial factor. Hopefully he gets on the weight in this bout. If not, he's moving up to 145, and I think his success really drops. Good gas tank. Nate Maness. On the opposite side of him, though, is Tony Gravely, who is a savage as well. Tons of pro experience. Very physically strong guy with a good wrestling game. Pressure style of striker with ferocious ground and pound. And honestly, you can't discredit Gravely's striking. He's actually a pretty solid boxer with sneaky KO power. We're going Nate Maness, though. I think Nate wins this bout. I think the range is a substantial factor in this one. Can he keep Gravely off of him? I feel like he'll be able to. I feel like he'll threaten with submissions. Nate Maness, close decision, potentially split decision for Nate Maness in this matchup, but I do see him slightly edging it out in a very difficult fight. Nate Maness is a big underdog, though. Plus 170 to minus 177 at best value for Gravely. I like Nate Maness as the underdog. I'm going dog Nate Maness. Fight goes the distance -155. Fight ends inside the distance +115. We're on team Nate Maness, and I think he's going to win this bout here by a decision against Tony Gravely, and should earn himself another UFC victory. Then be unbeaten inside of the UFC at 3-0. Next fight, women's bout. Pannie Kianzad and Raquel Pennington. Interesting matchup here. Is it a crossroads fight? I mean, you know what? In a way, this really is a crossroads fight here. You're looking at Pannie Kianzad, granted only 4 years younger, but starting to make her run towards the top of the weight class. And then you have Raquel Pennington, fought for a title, lost fighting for a title, and is now getting a little momentum back. She's got a win against Marion Reneau, lost to Holly Holm, no problem there. Aldana won a split decision. I mean, the loss at Germaine de Randamie, not even, a bad loss. Germaine's top of the line fighter in this weight class. But you look at Kianzad, dominant win over Alexis Davis, beats Sajara Eubanks. Good amount of wins for her. And I like Kianzad a lot. She's a light-footed striker with very good boxing skills. She's actually one of the better female boxers, especially in this bantamweight division. Pretty tight style, nice jab, good straight punch. On the opposite side, though, you have a forward pressure fighter in Raquel Pennington. She's comfortable clinching you, putting you against the cage, controlling you for long periods of time. It's not going to be easy to deal with Raquel Pennington's forward pressure. She's got a good grappling game as well. Tricky girl to deal with. She's honestly physically stronger than most in these women's weight classes. That's why she gives these difficult fights to top-of-the-line girls. Like even Holly Holm really struggled with Raquel. I think Raquel Pennington wins here too. Decision, Raquel Pennington over Pannie Kianzad. I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining fight of the night. Let's be honest, Raquel Pennington is kind of known for less than entertaining fights. But I still feel like you have to pick her to win. I'm not going to go off entertainment value. We're going off who's winning the fight. It's Raquel Pennington. Pannie Kianzad, I think she's going to have potential moments with the boxing. I think she's still a viable contender, but not ready for that top of the line just yet. Raquel Pennington, win by a decision. Let's see what the odds think of this matchup. Raquel, slight favorite, -122. Kianzad, +115. Underdog, I like the favorite here. Fight goes the distance, -285. I'd say that's pretty much a lock. I'd be very surprised to see this fight not go the distance here. Got to get a little water in me as we fly through these predictions. We got a lot to talk about still. We're at our featured prelim of the night. Tafon Nchukwi takes on Mike Slow Rodriguez. Let's look at this, though. They call him Mike Slow Rodriguez, but Tafon Nchukwi is one of the slower strikers I've seen. His last fight, down a weight class at 85. Now, jumping up, fighting up a weight class. But if you remember, Mike Rodriguez, previous experience, down a weight class as well at 185. He has a lot of length advantage in this fight. 82.5-inch reach to 77, 4-inch height advantage, professional experience advantage. Tafon Nchukwi, Cameroonian fighter, similar to Francis Ngannou, obviously got him a good amount of hype. He's a powerful striker, but as I said, he's a bit slow. He should have the slow nickname. Still, a lot of potential. 26. The sky's the limit. Finishing ability for sure. Power for sure. Boxing skills for sure. But Mike Rodriguez on the other side, tricky kickboxer. Fights out of the southpaw stance. He's lanky. He's good inside the clinch. He's got nice, dirty boxing skills. I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like Nchukwi's in trouble here. He's going to struggle with Mike Rodriguez from range. I could even see Rodriguez finding a way to get on top of Tafon Nchukwi. A tired Nchukwi gets submitted in the third round. I'm going Mike Rodriguez third round submission, and I think rear naked choke. That's a real Mystic Mac pick. I think Rodriguez, though, is the pick to win the bout. Inside the distance, potentially also. I think he's going to beat Tafon Nchukwi here in this matchup. Odds, they don't agree. They have Nchukwi as a favorite, -118 to the +115 underdog, Mike Rodriguez. Let's see. Fight goes the distance, +140. Fight ends inside the distance, -180. Could Nchukwi land the knockout punch? Sure. But I'm picking the guy that I think is technically superior and has some clear-cut advantages on paper here. So we'll go with Mike Rodriguez. And I think he's going to upset Tafon Nchukwi. Potential maybe Nchukwi sprinkle by the KO, but we got to see what it's at when it releases. Let's jump to the main card. Smash the hell out of the like button. I need at least 180 likes on this full card breakdown. Much love to all my people tuning in to the show. Let's talk about it. Joaquin Buckley and Antonio Arroyo to start the night off. You couldn't have asked for a better fight to start it off. Strikers. Arroyo's been dealing with grapplers, man. I'm happy that they gave him Buckley. Somebody who's going to sit in there and be willing to strike, because I want to see Arroyo in a true striking fight. The grapplers have beat him. He doesn't have great takedown defense. He isn't super good off the back. Granted, he's not terrible. He's a rangy striker. Definitely a Taekwondo background, hands low style with a very good kicking game, and he likes to manage distance, and he does it fairly well. He's got a huge 5-inch height advantage, but he's actually at a disadvantage by 2.5 inches with the reach. Joaquin Buckley is a knockout puncher. He slips punches well. He has very good movement. He closes distance fast, and he can land some powerful hooks. You look at his fight, even against Kevin Holland, he had moments. Pressure forward style. He's got the KO of the year. This guy can definitely mix it up striking, and I'm not super impressed by Antonio Arroyo. I feel like in this matchup, Joaquin Buckley should potentially really shine. Does Arroyo make weight? He was 194 for the last one. I hope he comes in on weight for this one. I think Joaquin Buckley puts it on him. Second round KO, Joaquin Buckley. He gets it done with the hands and sleeps Antonio Arroyo, and what could be an action-packed striking fight. And you know Buckley needs to bounce back after Di Chirico puts him to sleep with a head kick. Then Di Chirico gets slept by a head kick by Al Hassan. So nuts how it's all worked out. But I think Buckley is going to put Antonio Arroyo down here. Joaquin Buckley, big favorite though. Oof, minus 200 to plus 180. The big favorite. I still think he wins. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 300. I think it will. Plus 220 for fight goes the distance. I think ends inside the distance for sure here. Joaquin Buckley, win, KO, TKO, round 2, in what should be a pretty action-packed striking fight. Christos Giagos versus Arman Tsarukyan. Man, they're giving Arman a guy pretty far outside of the rankings, but not a bad fighter. He lost to Jakar close by a decision, beat Maness, beat Sean Soriano. It's a good fight for Arman to really test himself. His one loss is to Islam Makhachev by a decision. No shame there. You have Arman, who is a fantastic wrestler. Very good forward pressure, good takedowns, good top control, really good submission defense. He went out there with David Ramos and was able to out-grapple him and control him. And you look, was that his last fight? It was Matt Frivola that he also beat by a unanimous decision. Striking's not really the best attribute of Arman, whereas Giagos is actually a pretty solid striker. Good straight punches. His boxing game is solid. I just like his stance overall on the feet. He's got a pressure forward style, but I do fear that he will be controlled. Not bad off the ground by any means, but Arman Tsarukyan, bit of a different level here. I think he's going to be real tricky to deal with. He'll find a way inside and work towards a hard-fought decision. He's going to beat Christos Giagos, but it might pump the brakes a bit on the hype of Arman Tsarukyan if he doesn't go out there and really put it on Christos, the Spartan Giagos here. We'll ride Arman Tsarukyan, win by a decision in what should be a fairly competitive one. But still, Tsarukyan clearly winning, even though he's going to have probably a little bit of a harder time than the lines. I mean, the lines have it. This should be a first-round beatdown. But I think we're going the distance. Minus 670, Tsarukyan, plus 559, Giagos. Huge favorite there. Minus 165, fight goes the distance. It will. Ends inside distance, plus 125. I think it probably will here. I would like to see Tsarukyan get a finish, but not a huge finisher. I think he beats Giagos. Decision win. Next fight of the night, women's bout. Interesting, the lineup of bouts on this card, but I didn't make the order. Maybe this isn't the final one. We'll have to find out as we get closer. Mandy Bohm takes on Ariane Lipski. This is a fun fight. On one side, SBG Ireland prospect, so you know she's got a good striking game. Lanky striker is Mandy Bohm. Decent jab. Likes to keep those hands real low, which could get her caught. But she is actually pretty slick and also has a decent grappling game as well. Granted, not extremely effective with the wrestling, which Lipski has struggled with grappling a lot in previous fights. Lipski's a pretty aggressive striker. Definitely a Muay Thai-esque style. Very fast starter. She's the queen of islands. She likes to brawl. She likes to go to war. She likes to make it entertaining fights. I mean, she has good hook flurries as she rushes inside. She's pretty decent from the mid-range as well. I'm not super impressed by Lipski. Granted, I'm not super impressed by Mandy Bohm really either. We don't know enough about Bohm. We know she's 7-0. She's fought in Bellator, but not at the highest level. Lipski's been in there with very good girls time and time again, and I guarantee you she's getting better and better. She's also younger than Bohm. I think Ariane Lipski wins this by a decision. Ariane Lipski. Let's see the odds. Do they agree? Lipski is a slight favorite here. Minus 112. Minus 112 is about pick'ems on some sites. Plus 105 for Mandy Bohm. So minus 112, plus 105. We are going with Ariane Lipski to win by a decision. Minus 190, fight goes the distance. You have to go Lipski wins by a decision. I don't see it happening another way, man. It's going to be good stuff, though. I'm pretty pumped for this fight. Let's keep on going, though. More fights to talk about on this jam-packed 15-fight card. Jeez. Niklas Motta versus Cameron VanCamp. Motta impressed on the Contender Series. He has a pretty tight striking style with good kickboxing, solid boxing too. His hooks are dangerous. Those are kind of his best attributes, striking. Also nice low kicks. I like the knockout power that he has, and he definitely can hurt his opponents. Cameron VanCamp is actually a pretty slick striker himself. He's going to be slept on, obviously, by the bookies coming in on real short notice, but he's not a bad fighter. He's pretty athletic, stance switches, good submission game. Lots of things to like, really, here. But you're putting him in there against Nicholas Motta, who's been training for Jim Miller. Granted, Jim Miller, more of pure grappling. I feel like Cameron VanCamp, though he fought just over a month ago, potentially gasses. It was also up a weight class at 170. I think the weight cut taxes him, and I think we get a knockout. Second round knockout, Nicholas Motta over Cameron VanCamp in this bout. Let's see the odds, if they even exist yet. I guess the odds aren't out yet. Wow, we're doing them early, man. But just know, Motta will be a fairly large favorite. We'll go over it more so in this week's Best MMA Bets. We'll talk about a potential bet with Motta. I think he gets the KO. I think that's a quality prop bet. When it drops, I will be sprinkling it, and we'll see what it's valued at as soon as that happens. But yeah, Nicholas Motta win over Cameron VanCamp in this pretty exciting bout in the lightweight division. Now, co-main event of the evening. Interesting fight, and I actually think it makes a lot of sense. Not necessarily similar styles, but forward pressure guys, wrestling bases, though Devin Clark, different style, obviously, of wrestling. He definitely doesn't have the striking ability of Ian Cutelaba. I feel like Cutelaba, though known more for the wrestling, he does have pretty decent boxing skills. He does have some all right knockout power. He's not chinny by any means. He went out there and had a draw with a dangerous Dustin Jacoby. Granted, 2 losses in a row to Magomed Ankalaev definitely hurt his stock, but you can't sleep on Ian Cutelaba. He's 27. He's only in his 20s still. Cutelaba just looks like, he's been 30 forever. But no, man, he's a young man in this fight game. Devin Clark, 31. I like the forward pressure wrestling and the aggressiveness. I mean, you saw him beat Alonzo Menfield with a lot of control. This fight, I don't think Cutelaba succumbs to that type of pressure by Devin Clark. I think he's superior. I think he's going to be throwing a lot of power punches. I think we get actually a pretty decent fight. I think Clark's going to look to wrestle. He's going to be stopped a lot with takedown attempts. Could potentially shell up a bit. You look at losses, though. Devin Clark tends to lose fights by submission. Ian Cutelaba, when was his last submission? Let me double check this. He has not won a submission inside of the UFC. His last submission win was in 2015 against a 2-1 fighter. He's not a guy that really shoots for submission. How much top control time will he really have against Devin Clark? This is a factor that I've been thinking about with this matchup. Devin Clark striking, I think, is disadvantage. I think he definitely could get hurt by Cutelaba here, and I think they're going to mix it up. Clark has never been a guy that's chinny. I don't believe he's ever been knocked out. Let me double check here. We looked through his record. The losses, okay, he has 1 KO loss to Rakic, and he lost to Alex Nicholson by KO. Okay. So this fight, I see Cutelaba winning. Let me just throw it out there right away. I definitely think Cutelaba can win, but can he get the stoppage? For his career, it would be very advantageous to stop Devin Clark. You know what? I'm thinking Cutelaba potentially beats Clark TKO late second round. Ian Cutelaba. Now, odds -137, +124. We're on Cutelaba. I think it should be a pretty clear win. Fight goes a distance is actually plus money. Ends inside distance is -150. I'm liking Cutelaba KO TKO. I think he's going to beat Devin Clark here. I'm going to potentially break him, and I think this is a fun fight. Good co-main event. Let's jump to the main event, though. Smash that like button. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe to and turn on those post notifications so you do not miss a video. Anthony Lionheart Smith, Ryan Superman Spann. Good main event. Really good main event. Ryan Spann had a disappointing loss to Johnny Walker. Was able to bounce back pretty impressively, beating Surkanov. You look at the Alvey split. That was kind of a bad fight. But other than that, I mean, he's been dominating most of the competition. You see the 2 losses there for Anthony Smith. He's now bounced back with 2 straight wins. Beat Jimmy Crute in an awkward fight where Crute was injured, but was from the doing of Anthony Smith. Kickboxing skill set Anthony Smith brings to the table is real. Ryan Spann, I do feel like, has superior boxing to Anthony Smith, though I think Smith better kicks. Ryan Spann, faster with the hands. I think Smith, footwork maybe a bit faster. Grappling advantage, I got to go Anthony Smith. When he gets fights to the floor, he does find a good amount of success here. My concern with Ryan Spann is he may gas out as this fight continues to go, because I think Smith is definitely going to fight smart, but at a higher pace here. Granted, I don't think he'll go as crazy as he did when he fought Glover Teixeira, which that fight, I mean, he looked fantastic to start. Anthony Smith's a dangerous striker. He's going to have moments striking with Spann. I think Spann might also have a couple moments too. Anthony Smith, though, superior striking. I think with that superior striking, maybe causes Spann to wrestle a bit, clinch up. I think that's where Anthony Smith really can show off the grappling skills. I'm thinking third round submission, Anthony Lionheart Smith. He's going to beat Ryan Spann in this main event. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I honestly cannot wait to see it. So many fights for Anthony Smith. My goodness, 35-16. He's still towards the top of the weight class. He's going to beat Ryan Spann here. I'm excited to see what's next for Anthony. He's not probably in title picture, but he's definitely upper echelon of the light heavyweight division. Has had a great career for himself, really starting off as just some journeyman, and look how far he's come. Submission win, third round, Anthony Smith. He's going to beat Ryan Superman Spann in the main event of the evening. The odds, -159, +152. Anthony Smith, for me, is my guy. I'm going Anthony Smith. Fight goes the distance, +185. I think it ends inside the distance, -265. And I think the submission is the prop bet. I think the over 1.5 is definitely something to play here. I think it's going to be Anthony Smith, though, putting it on Superman Spann. We're not done just yet. We got to parlay you guys up. The early parlay of the week, before we do this week's best MMA bets parlay, where we really take it deep. Let's see here. If we want to parlay some things up, Arman Tsarukyan, you unfortunately just kind of have to play him because of the game that he brings. I think that he really should win here. Let's see who else we want to play. I think Montel's another one of those real locks of the night. If you're feeling some of the underdogs, you definitely can do that. Nate Maness as a dog will bring to +229 for that. But let me look. I want to see anybody that really jumps off the page. I think Mike Rodriguez beats Nchukwi, but I can see people being nervous of playing it. Joaquin Buckley, the odds are kind of ugly. Nicholas Motta, he's going to be another one that will potentially be playing on a parlay. Should bring us to at least a -200 range when that does drop. Say you had Cutelaba, it'd be +118. But do you really want to play Cutelaba? Maybe you like Smith, +100. Tsarukyan, Jackson, and Smith. Now, if you're looking to potentially parlay up, inside the distance or whatnot, I think you could definitely find some success playing some things like that. Women's MMA, definitely a dangerous game. I'm not going to do it for this one, but the Penny Kianzad and Raquel Pennington fight, I think, fight goes the distance, -1,000. That's unreal there. -131, fight goes the distance, Pennington Kianzad, Tsarukyan, Jackson. I think that's a fantastic lock-style parlay where you throw a lot of money at that. But if you're looking to also spice things up a bit, I think you can go Buckley on there. I think he's going to get the KO. I wish Motta was available now because I would definitely lock him down. And then we'll go Lionheart at the top, +293. We'll go a lot deeper with this week's Best MMA Bets. A little preview for you guys of the betting side of things. I really enjoyed breaking this card down. Make sure you guys smash the hell out of the like button. We need at least 180 likes on this full card breakdown. Much love to all my people tuning into the show. I'll answer some questions in the live chat here while we're hanging out. Did y'all see that transgender fighter? Yeah, I did see that, man. I don't know about that one. That's gonna be a highly debated topic in the fight game. Pat Sabatini, featherweight champ, you think 2023? We'll see. Maybe. I like him though. I like him. Yeah, Smith has so many main events, man. Much love to everybody watching live, everybody watching on replay. I appreciate all you guys for supporting the channel. You guys really make this thing possible. I got a ton of content dropping this week. So tomorrow I will be dropping the Contender Series event and then the Contender Series breakdown. And then the next day I'll be doing the Bellator full card predictions, which I'm looking forward to breaking down the Bellator card. And then we also really going to do a fire this week's Best MMA Bets. So stay tuned for everything. You're at the right channel if you're looking for MMA coverage, predictions, breakdowns, reactions, and more. Thank you all so much. Much love, all my people. Smash the likes, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great night, everybody.